How does Planned Parenthood celebrate Black History Month? The following statement appears on Planned Parenthood's website. In observance of Black History Month, Planned Parenthood is celebrating the leadership of African Americans who led the fight for reproductive freedom. This is all very touching, that Planned Parenthood would take time from their busy schedule of killing black babies in their abortion clinics, to proclaim their appreciation for the African American community. The Planned Parenthood website goes on to recognize the achievements of that famous advocate of nonviolence, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As if Dr. King somehow posthumously approves the violent killings of the more than 1,500 babies that will be destroyed in a black woman's womb every day, a significant portion of which are performed in Planned Parenthood's abortion clinics. The Planned Parenthood website also states that Planned Parenthood is committed to providing the highest level of care to people of all cultures and backgrounds. This is indeed very generous of Planned Parenthood to lend a helping hand to one of Margaret Sanger's favorite ethnic groups, as exemplified by Margaret Sanger's famous Negro Project. Undoubtedly, during Margaret Sanger's well-documented trip to talk to the Ku Klux Klan, she must have assuredly spoken in very generous terms of African Americans. However, the Planned Parenthood website that addresses Black History Month mysteriously fails to mention all of the tax dollars that they receive from hard-working African Americans, tax dollars which are used to help kill the more than 1,500 unborn African American babies every day. We are sure that this must have been a slight oversight on their part. There are some that claim that Planned Parenthood is a racist organization. However, we will not say that, for to do so would be a terrible insult to racists throughout the world.
Your remarks last month when you called Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, a person whom you enormously admire, were stunning to me. Margaret Sanger clearly embraced bigotry and racism. She advocated for the elimination of the disabled, the downtrodden, and the black child. In one of her writings, she said, "Today, eugenics is suggested by the most diverse minds as the most adequate and thorough avenue to the solution of racial, political, and social problems."
Congressman, let me say, with respect to your comments about Margaret Sanger, you know, I admire Thomas Jefferson. I admire his words and his leadership, and I deplore his unrepentant slaveholding. I admire Margaret Sanger being a pioneer in trying to empower women to have some control over their bodies, and I deplore statements that you have referenced. That is the way we often are when we look at flawed human beings. There are things that we admire and things we deplore.
Planned Parenthood touts itself as being the most trusted advisor of reproductive health care in America, and it hopes to continue spreading its political and social agenda this election season. Barack Obama caught the eye of Planned Parenthood well before he began his race for the White House. As a long supporter of pro-choice rights for women, the Illinois senator vowed to keep fighting for their cause when he spoke over the summer to the Planned Parenthood Action Fund.
There will always be people, many of goodwill, who do not share my view on the issue of choice. On this fundamental issue, I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
And Barack Obama's voting record shows this to be true. Early in his political career, the junior Illinois senator sided with pro-choice legislation. In 1997, Barack Obama opposed a bill banning partial birth abortions in the Illinois State Senate. Obama, a law professor at the time, voted against the bill, saying it was unconstitutional. In 2002, he also voted against the Induced Birth Infant Liability Act, requiring parents to be financially responsible for the baby's medical bills and well-being if the abortion is not successful.
With one more vacancy on the court, we could be looking at a majority hostile to a woman's fundamental right to choose for the first time since Roe versus Wade, and that is what is at stake in this election. Well, it's time for us to change that. It is time for a different attitude in the White House. It is time for a different attitude in the Supreme Court. It is time to turn the page and write a new chapter in American history.
And Planned Parenthood wants to make sure if Barack Obama is elected that his opinions will not waver. In 2004, Planned Parenthood contributed $10,000 to Obama's senatorial campaign, and they have already donated almost $2,000 to his presidential campaign. In addition, the Wall Street Journal reports that Planned Parenthood is launching its own campaign to ensure that pro-abortion candidates are elected to Congress and the White House this coming November. Calling it the 1 Million Strong campaign, the pro-choice organization vows to go door to door and spend $10 million with the hopes of persuading 1 million people to vote for pro-abortion candidates. And as the abortion agency gears up for a political battle this election season, Planned Parenthood is finding itself in some extremely hot water. In California, an independent student magazine run by a group of UCLA students went undercover and recorded phone conversations with Planned Parenthood.
Advocate staff and I decided to investigate the racist history of Planned Parenthood and if it plays out today in both their practical policies and how they affect minority populations, but also their development department. We had an actor call up Planned Parenthood across the country to see how they would respond to someone who had a very racist agenda.
Good afternoon, this is Autumn.
Hello, Autumn. I'm interested in making a donation today.
Fantastic.
What about abortions for the underprivileged minority groups?
Certainly.
Okay. So the abortion could be, I could give money specifically for a black baby. That'd be the purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to designate that you wanted your gift to be used to help an African American woman in need, then we would certainly make sure that gift was earmarked specifically for that purpose.
Great, because I really face trouble with affirmative action, and I don't want my kids being disadvantaged, against black kids. I just had a baby. I want to put it in his name, So that's definitely possible.
Oh, always.
Unfortunately, the call does not stop there, and the Planned Parenthood employee does not hang up the phone.
And we just think, the less black kids out there, the better.
Understandable.
This is just one of several phone conversations recorded by the students. The response of another administrator from Planned Parenthood is just as shocking.
If you specifically wanted to underwrite an abortion for a minority person, you can target it that way. You can specify that that's how you want it spent.
Okay, yeah, because there's definitely way too many black people in Ohio, so I'm just trying to do my part.
Okay, whatever.
Well, blacks especially need abortions, too. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, for whatever reason, we'll accept the money.
79% of their clinics are in minority neighborhoods, and an African American baby is almost as likely to be aborted because of this as it is to be born.
What would you say is now the #1 cause of death in the African American community?
Heart disease.
Oh, HIV/AIDS.
Diabetes, cancer, AIDS.
I'll say heart disease. AIDS.
From what I heard, it's probably AIDS,
Probably heart disease. I think heart disease.
HIV. Gang violence.
What if I told you the real answer was abortion?
Since 1973, legal abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. Every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
We have now reached a point in this country that African American women